let us see, shall we? What are we focusing on this week? What is the energy? Because yes, we know that we're still in that place of not in the old, but we're not in the new entirely. We're in that in between. Well, trust the journey. I trust, I surrender, I say yes. You have asked to go and be somewhere and someone in your journey, in your experience, and you are being prepared for that. You are being molded for that. Who you have been is not the same person that you need to be in the vision that you've asked to step into. And so this is going to feel unfamiliar because you're going somewhere you've never been. You're going to be in a state of being that you've never been in. But that's why it's your responsibility to feel into whatever vision it is, to feel it, to let yourself visualize it, to let yourself feel as though it already is. And I know, Goddess, I know how challenging it can be when you have doubts about certain visions and you're not quite sure if it's feasible or if it's attainable or if it's allowed for you to want that, especially when it, again, feels very challenging to anchor into that vision, to trust the unfolding of just the visualization of the vision. And how do we cultivate greater trust within ourselves and in our journeys? We practice more presence, Goddess. We practice more presence, more breath work, more meditation, more of that letting go of the illusion of control. Because we really don't have much control except for that which we have over ourselves. Leading the way, leading by example. Recognizing that we don't have control over things and others and people and places outside of ourselves. Maybe in your own personal environment to a certain extent, everything goes where you want it to be. However, on the grand scale of this reality, that which is outside of you, you really have very, very little control, if any, over. What you have control over, where your power is within you, and to have control over you and how you choose to respond to whatever is happening in your world. And I know, easier said than done at times. But even when you have a meltdown, it's how you recover, it's how you handle the meltdown, that breakdown to break through. Do you let yourself break down to break through? Because otherwise you're just keeping that all in and you're not really setting that example. This is why I have shared so much of my journey through all these years and show so much of my breakdown to breakthrough spaces, because of the beliefs and limitations that I was taught about myself that I needed to break down, as well as those which you were taught about yourself, the very things, the very sabotaging, limiting beliefs that keep you apart from what you keep asking for. But we have to break down the barriers that we have created for ourselves so that we can break through and break free into the reality that you desire to be living. And you lead by example. This is the new earth energy. There's no more, oh, I have a piece of paper that qualifies me. It's going to be more and more, what's the experience? Have you actually lived this? It's akin to a business professor. There's who was it? The guy that invented FedEx, come to find out, his business professor failed his business idea for that which FedEx is. His business professor failed him on that assignment. But lo and behold, here he did not let that fail him, fail his vision, and he went out and he achieved his vision. Now FedEx is a household name. But had he listened to someone who clearly had never run a business and allowed someone who didn't have the actual experience, but rather just had a piece of paper that said they were qualified, they weren't leading by example, that person's entire vision could have just disappeared and never been. So this is what you're being asked, goddesses, that first and foremost, you need to honor your vision as your vision. That you have received this, and that because you have received this, first and foremost, you are fucking allowed to have this vision that you have. You are allowed to desire the joy, the joyful experience that you desire.